Now let's return to Brexit and Theresa May's request for a new delay until the end of June. Let's get reaction from Richard Corbett, who joins us from Leeds. He is the leader of the Labour Party in the European Parliament. Richard Corbett, thank you for talking to us. Your response to this request for an extension?
Well, I think the EU side will say that's not long enough. There's no guarantee that a deal can be done in that time. And the last thing they want is a series of prolongations, a few weeks, a few months at a time. That's why Donald Tusk has been talking of a year-long extension, which is an extension of a deadline, remember. You can always reach an agreement earlier than the deadline if you manage to, and leave earlier if you want to, but it means that you're away from this cliff edge scenario every few weeks.
I suppose the Prime Minister might say two things in response to that. One is a cliff edge is good to concentrate minds, and two
she's tried that. She's tried that, it didn't work.
Well, that's your answer to that one. And then the other thing I think she might say is we do not want MEPs from the UK, given the democratic mandate for leaving the EU, we do not want MEPs sitting in Parliament. So we want to be out before parliamentarians go to sit in Strasbourg.
Well, if we need a longer deadline, you know, tails shouldn't wag dogs. Brexit and the potential problems that it causes, especially if we get a really bad Brexit, far more important issue than the supposed inconvenience of taking part in elections and, after all, allowing people to vote. So I think the Prime Minister is more afraid of what would happen to the Conservative Party in those elections than anything else.
Are you concerned about what might happen in those elections? I mean, there's a lot of discussion about how an embittered section of the electorate might feel, would you please just get on and carry out, implement the mandate that we gave you in the referendum in 2016. If we now have to vote for MEPs, do you worry that that might impact all establishment politicians?
I think people should be given the right to speak. I don't think it's up to politicians to say, no, you can't have your say. That question comes up as well with whether there should be a confirmatory ballot on the actual deal once we know what the actual deal is. Not allowing people to vote on a deal that will be very, very different to what was promised 3 years ago. That's tantamount to saying to people, you had your say 3 years ago, now you have to shut up and accept whatever we come up with. That's rather undemocratic.
Richard Corbett, thanks for giving us your view.